Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Amber Unfiltered. Today we're going to talk a little bit about Arcane. Specifically, I think I want to talk about Jinx. I might talk about Ekko in this video, or I might do a separate one. I haven't entirely decided yet, or if I'm even going to do it, so don't hold me to that. But before I do that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, if you want to cash at me at Amber Unfiltered Show, that'd be greatly appreciated. So me and Nick just finished watching Arcane. I want to say on Thanksgiving Day, we watched the last two episodes. This season was so different from the last one. I like the artistic or creative choices that they made. I think the way that they shot the show was so beautiful. There were some sequences and some parts that really touched me and I had like a visceral or emotional reaction to it. Ooh, excuse me. I feel like I was about to burp. My bad. But I don't want to review it in its entirety. I kind of just want to say that I think Jinx is such a strong character, and I think that her journey was actually incredible to watch because she was so. Let me back up. I think the way that they portrayed her mental illness was really unique, and I think that it was very accurate. Just the manic, the up and down, the pendulum kind of effect of it. I think it was brilliant. Like even with the colors in the background, the voices in her head, the seeing her, deceased friends, I thought that was very interesting, and how she'd be talking to somebody, but there'd be no one there. Like Ella Purnell deserves a fucking award for that, like either an Emmy or Oscar. I was about to say Grammy, and I was like, bitch, that's for music. But anyway, I think she's a phenomenal actress. Me and Nick watched her in Fallout, and I thought her performance was incredible. She has such a distinct voice and such a recognizable voice, but I think she's emotionally intelligent as an actress as well. If you haven't checked out Fallout, watch it on Amazon Prime. It's like the most trippiest show. I want to say this one was also made after a video game as well, because Arcane is made after a video game as well. And I think it's so interesting when you can convert one medium into another, but that's a different discussion for another day. Jinx was so lost. She was so dark. She was so heavy. She also was very manic, like I said, like she was all over the place. She was very unpredictable. She could just, the drop of a hat, she just changed course or pathways. But I think this season she was much more vulnerable. I seen a loving side to her, a nurturing side to her, which I did not expect to see. But she also, I think in a way, she was the sister that she needed for Isha, that she needed from Vi. Like I think the way that she looked out for that little girl, and she loved on her, and she saw value in her and didn't push her to the side, because I think Jinx, I felt so bad for how she was treated in season 1, and I know a lot of it was not deliberate, but they just kind of treated her like she was a pest. All she wanted to do was help. All she wanted to do was earn her keep and prove that she was valuable. I think that they kind of abandoned her at certain points. She was left to basically raise herself, and that's something that I can identify with because that definitely was me in my childhood. I think that she was just a kid trying to participate in adult activities, and it just did not work out in her favor. Her sister was so tough, and I think she felt like she had to, follow in her sister's footsteps. She was like living in her shadow. My sister is this great fighter. She's fierce. She's tough. She's a badass. I'm trying to do the same thing. I'm trying to earn my keep. Maybe, Jinx isn't the strongest fighter. Let me back up. She's not as strong of a fighter as Vi, but her mind is her greatest weapon. She can make these really cool inventions. She's smarter than what most people give her credit for, and she can see and spot things a mile away. She has a really good gift of discernment. She's very smart and cunning. Like she uses it to her advantage very well. But I loved how her character unfolded this season. I loved how she gave her sister permission to let her go and live her life. I thought that was incredibly powerful. I loved how they, reunited. I think Vi also softened up this season, but Jinx, her becoming the hero, I did not expect that to happen. And her pairing up with Savika was very interesting to me because they were like basically rivals. Like Savika was like off of their head. Like she wanted to get rid of her. She saw her as an annoyance, as a burden. And she kind of saw her as a problem because she was like, you can't, she told Silco, like, you can't control her. Like she just does what she wants. And then it backfires. And then I have to clean up the mess like a fucking janitor. But seeing her and Savika pair up was actually very powerful because they had the same goals or motives or interests, which was to protect the people down under. I can't think of the fucking name. I know topside, but I don't remember what they called it down there. Was it called? Zon? I think that was the name. Sorry, I'm trying to remember everything, but I'm just going off the cuff here, so I apologize if I'm kind of like glancing, darting around. But yeah, I think she is played really well. I think that her heart is bigger than what her body knows how to do or what to do with. I think that her, I'm trying to think of what to say here. I think she just is incredible. Like I was so surprised at how much I liked her and how much I was rooting for her this season. But I even felt bad for her last season. Like I remember watching Arcane when it first came out. Was it 2020 or 2021, something like that? And I was like, oh my God. But I don't think I had the same commentary that I had watching it this go round. So me and Nick did a rewatch of season 1 before we watched this season, because we're like, bitch, we don't remember nothing. Like it's giving amnesia. It's giving Jason Bourne. And I was like, he was like, oh, let's watch it. Let's just get a refresher. And we normally don't do that. And I was like, okay, fine. But my heart was going out for her because I was like, her trauma was given to her. Like she didn't have a choice. And again, that's something else I can relate to. My mom actually just said this to me the other day. She was like, this was given to you. Like you didn't ask for this. And I was like, yes, that's literally how it feels. You're stuck with something that you don't want, that you don't need, but you're trying to figure out how to parse it out. And Jinx was hurting. She lost her family. She lost her sense of self. She lost her friends that basically were family. She was raised with these guys, and she accidentally caused their deaths. And she's haunted by this. And I think that she made peace with it, and she realized that it wasn't her fault, which was actually incredibly powerful, which is something that I think a lot of people with PTSD or any type of trauma struggle to believe. Like even myself, I'm like, oh my God, everything is my fault. I don't even know why I take on that burden or that responsibility, but I somehow do. I'm like, oh, my family splitting up, that's my fault. Oh, my parents getting divorced is my fault. And a lot of kids of divorced or broken families tend to do this, and we don't know why. We just feel like, oh, we should have done more, but it's like, it's not up to us. It's not our responsibility. It's not our fault either. But oh my God, there was so much more I wanted to say. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I need to say. I just was so impressed with her. I was impressed with the direction of her character. I think she had, all the other characters seemed to kind of go down darker paths. Like Caitlyn went down a really dark path, and oh my God, what's the inventor guy's name? Jace, he went down a really dark path as well. I think Mel kind of came or stepped more into her power. I think Vi realized that she didn't need to be tough all the time, and that she didn't always need to use her fists or her hands, which was very powerful. She succumbed to love, which I actually loved for her. But I don't know. I just was so impressed. I was like, bitch, sign me up. But I don't know. I do feel like the season was very rushed. A lot of it I really didn't understand. And I was like, I'm pretty good at understanding shows. Like Nick was like, the quantum realm and all this. And I was like, bitch, what? I was like, what in the meta universe? What in the Spider-Verse? I was like, I'm lost. Like it was just so fast paced, and they packed so much in that it was very confusing to keep up with some of the storylines more towards the end. One of my favorite episodes, I think it was the second to last episode. I think it was the second to last episode, if I'm not mistaken, where Ekko is in the alternate universe. I said this was going to be about Jinx. I'm over here talking about Ekko. Told you, I have the attention span of a gnat. But anyway, I love that episode where Ekko was in that other like parallel dimension, and like his dad is still alive. Like Jinx is more like in her right frame of mind. She doesn't have any trauma. Clagger and all their other friends are still alive. The only one that's not alive, unfortunately, spoiler alert, is Vi. So don't watch this review. I probably should have said this at the beginning. Don't watch the rest of this video if you don't want any spoilers. I probably already spoiled it anyway, but it's a little too late to be saying that. But I love that episode because it was so touching. Ekko also had a really beautiful journey. I really loved his character. I really loved his design. I was like, I hope my son is that fine. Like he was so cute. He kind of reminded me of Miles Morales. Like I don't know, the energy was kind of the same, but a little bit different. Ekko, I think he was tough out of necessity and out of survival. He always has been, but he, like Jinx, was very smart. He was cunning. He could get himself in and out of situations. He knew all the tea. He knew the plot points. He knew, you know, where to get a lick from, because remember he figured out, he followed the guy that, I think he followed Jace when he invented those little blue things. I forgot what the fuck they're called, the hex tech stuff. Like he was very genius. Like I loved how they explored like genius at a young age. It kind of reminded me of like Shuri from Wakanda or Black Panther. Like I was like, oh, it's kind of giving that type of vibe. Like, you know, someone pouring into you and making science almost like sexy or appealing, you know, for the younger generation. I feel like if I wasn't taught the standard like biology or like, what did I take? Biology, chemistry, or physics, I think I would have liked science. Like if I had learned environmental science when I was a kid, I probably would have low-key been a scientist or been interested in that type of stuff, because I hated science before I took the environmental science class I'm in now. But environmental science is like more complex, or it's not more complex. It's more universal, and it's like, it's literally right outside my door. It's probably in your house too. It's more true to life or real world, so that's why I kind of like it more. But Ekko, oh my God, I loved his character. It was so sad to me because he was living in a world where he had everything he could have possibly wanted right at his fingertips, but he had to give it up to save those in the dimension that he was actually from. And there was a scene where he and Jinx were like dancing on the dance floor, and there's like this French music playing. The way it was shot was so beautiful. The music was beautiful. The way that she was dressed, she had like cute little buns. Her hair was like shorter. He had like a little shave thing and like the little dreadlocks hanging over. Oh my God, he looked so cute. He had earrings, and you could tell they were falling in love with each other. And I thought it was beautiful how they built this love story from two childhood like friends into lovers. Oh my God, it touched my heart. And then he had to give it up, and she tried to go in for a kiss, and he was like, because I think he knew like it was going to make it difficult for him to want to stay. And I just loved how much sacrifice that Ekko put into trying to save mankind that was in that other dimension, because he really didn't have to do that. He could have been selfish and just been like, fuck this, I'm in my dream world, so why do I need to go back? I love that episode. I love the way that it was done. It was so tasteful. It was so creative. 10 out of 10 for me. Probably higher than that. I'd give it like a 15 out of 10. But yeah, and also like he almost died like towards the end of the final episode, but he was able to turn back the hands of time, which I thought was really powerful. Sidebar, would you want to be able to do that? I don't think I would. I think that would just tamper or fuck up too many things, and I just leave stuff the way that it is, which is weird because I'm a control freak. But anyway, I loved how vulnerable he was. I loved how he was a Black man who was brilliant, or a young Black man who was brilliant. I loved how he really loved his friends. He really loved his family. He would have went to war for anybody. And I loved how he loved people. Like how oh my God, it was just such a beautiful episode. Like I really just want to watch it again. And it was so funny. Last night I sent Nick out to fucking Mod Pizza. We don't really ever eat there, but I was like, I want pizza, but I don't want to pay $60 or $70 for it. So I sent him there, and he came back, and he was playing that French song that I told you about that was in the episode, and it was so cute. And then I was like, damn, I kind of want to slow dance with him, but I'm like, baby, give me the pizza, give me the cheesy bread. Like, that's all I care about right now. Like, I love you. I'm glad you're home in one piece, but I want the food. But I don't know. There was so much more I feel like I wanted to say, but I guess that kind of summed it up. Nick was like, you should take notes. And I was like, I don't really want to take notes on this, because I was like, I'm kind of just freeballing it. Like if I'm doing like a specific review, like Love and Hip Hop or any movie reviews, I tend to take notes. But I don't know. Like I just loved those two characters. I loved where they went. I loved how strong they were. I loved how they showed their vulnerabilities, and their vulnerabilities weren't weaknesses, they were strengths, and how much they sacrificed to save the people that they really cared and loved. And I just love his design. I love like his beautiful mocha skin. I love his, like storm colored, Storm from X-Men, like the gray or like the platinum like locks. I love, how fierce he was. He could fight, but then he could turn it off and be a lover at the same time. And I just thought that was so powerful. And I was like, I hope more Black boys see this, and I hope they know that it's okay to be vulnerable, but also you can be tough, but you can be soft too. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with being soft. Like if I could have a son, I'd want him to be like Ekko. Like I was like, I hope my kid is like that. Like hopefully my son is fine as hell. But anyway, I'm saying that, but now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, he gonna have a lot of little girls after him, so maybe not. But anyway, I don't know. I adore Jinx and Ekko. I would just totally watch a show about them, but I think Nick said there might not be a season 2. I think they're exploring other characters or other universes to kind of dive in when it comes to Arcane. But I just love them too. Oh, it just broke my heart how things, how he had to give up that love. And I was like, oh, give up the love of a lifetime or save mankind. And it's like, you gotta save mankind. And it's like he'll never forget that. That memory of her will be burned in his mind forever. And it's like the Jinx in that other universe is totally different from the one that he saw in the more parallel one. But I don't know. I guess that's all I needed to say. Maybe something else will come of it, and maybe I'll make another video. I highly doubt it, because usually when I make one, I'm like, I'm on to the next. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my little feedback. I love you guys and hope you have a good week. Bye.